Oh, so here we are again on It's an Inside Job, and we are recording, and I've got another guest with me today because we are all on the inside. We're all, those words going around. We're on lockdown, we're on confinement, we're in quarantine, but we're in our homes. We're trying to carry on as normal. We've got relationship experts helping us understand how to deal with our loved ones within the house so that we can communicate what we need. I'm texting my son to say, please, rescue the chicken because it's eating all my seeds. And Karen, this is Karen. I want to introduce you today. And she was just about to tell me a funny story. I said, hang on, I'm going to record that because it's so important. Go on, Karen.
Well, no, it's when we're when we're used to having our own space, and then suddenly, partners at home, other people are at home. But I was just saying, I've had to put a note out on the stairs because my husband's got an office upstairs, and whereas I work downstairs, and I've had to put a note out going, recording, don't come in. And then I've had to grab the cat and shove her in the other room because whenever she hears me talking, on Skype or Zoom or anything, she always jumps on my knee. And I thought, I don't really need that distraction chatting to you today, Fiona.
Exactly. I think we need one of those recording,
Yes.
We're going to be working
red
at home
light
for a long time. So, we need one of those red, I'm recording, because my office backs onto the kitchen and sometimes there's a hell of a racket going on, and then I'm just like, for goodness sake. Yeah. But yeah, the trials and tribulations from working at home.
Because I'm used to peace and quiet. I'm not used to having anyone around.
I know, we are naturally home workers. I love my own space. I love being able to chant, meditate, and all those things. Thanks. And now I've got the kids at home and I'm trying to make sure that they're getting their homework off the computer. I've got my partner at home, he's kind of twiddling his thumbs, and I don't really want to give him such a long list of things to do. But at the same time, we are the organisers. We're the ones that kind of say, that would be awesome if that would be done. That would be awesome if that would be done. Who knows how long this is going to go on for, but I think houses and gardens are going to be looking so pretty this year.
They're going to have to keep the hardware shops open.
Yes, our hardware shop has shut down, but there is another one that is a farm supply, so that at least I can get my chicken food and seeds for the garden and things like that.
We have the same actually, yes, because I've got 4 chickens here, and I was thinking, yes, well, I'll have to keep that one open, and I can get other stuff from there.
It's funny, I'm finding more people who've got secret chickens in their garden. So we moved them all this last week so that we could make a massive big vegetable patch. I feel like I'm going back to being my grandmother again, like home cooking, and if you can't get certain things in, you've got to improvise. It takes a lot of brain space for us women, to think about what we can do.
But I think it's good, and I think it's funny, people say, oh, when we go back to normal, it won't be the same.
No,
there's no way we're going to go back.
No.
So much is changing on so many different levels, which actually I'm finding fascinating. I'm almost looking at this whole thing as almost like a social experiment, because I can see already how people are going to be changing.
Okay, well, dig into that then, because this is what you wanted to share about today, about how things are different and how we are going to be looking at things in a different way towards our business. So give me some of your insights about what you've noticed.
Well, as a business coach, I'm finding, obviously right now, we all, that all personal stuff going on as well, but obviously I'm focused on the little sort of world, my world, which is business owners. Today we've only just getting announcements from the government as to what help they're going to give for the self-employed. So those people have had a whole week now of real anxiety, because things came out very quickly on how companies were going to be supported, because they didn't want to lay people off. But the people who have got the small businesses, the people working on their own, it's been really stressful. And I suppose the message I've been trying to get out really is, this is not a time to panic. Yes, we're all going to wobble, but it's the people who go, right, okay, what am I going to do? How can I get creative? What am I going to change? Those are the ones that are actually going to keep their business surviving and hopefully thrive. Now, I know there are business owners out there who have had everything, just swiped out from under their feet. And I really feel for them. And there's nothing they can do. And they must be so fed up of hearing people like me going, well, get creative, take it online,
But this is what it's all about. It's about complete creativeness, isn't it, in some
Yeah.
ways? You really have to think outside the box. And I'm very much about going inside, finding out what the soul has in store for you, because you have no idea. You can't think your way through this sometimes. And you can only be creative when you're using your imagination and doing things in a different way.
Yeah.
And small ships are easier to navigate through different waters than the big ships.
Very often,
using that analogy of it as a company, it can't just like change direction. Whereas a small ship can kind of go, all right, okay, well, I'll just refocus on that then.
Yeah. And I think it's really, I was sort of saying yesterday, obviously you have to look after yourself. And I know you've been doing talks, about your own well-being. You've got to look after your family. You've got to look after your friends. So you do have to look after yourself first. But I think if you can do all those things that are going to keep you calm, that's when you're going to make better decisions, actually. Because you do need this headspace to think, okay, what am I going to do? I need to really sort of step up. I use the phrase, be the CEO of your company. What would a level-headed, sensible boss do? And then start thinking about the ideas. And as I say, giving yourself that time. And I think, there's no point saying, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And I've got to, I'll try this and I'll try that. I think we all do need that space to go, okay, let's sit down. What can I plan for? Because this will pass. All things shall pass. And it's, how do you want your business to look like at the end of this? Are you going to come out of this hitting the ground running? It will be different. And as you say, it's like the little ships. We will have to pivot. There are things that we can do that we maybe haven't done before. And I've come across some fascinating stories. I must tell you this one actually, Fiona, because he's on tomorrow night again. So there was a guy, I actually spoke to him. I gave him a coaching session about 2 or 3 years ago. He's a music teacher, plays wonderful piano, was trying to get a business up and running, providing music for weddings and things like that. But I actually encouraged him to start up his own singing group. And I said, for God's sake, don't call it a choir. Do not call it a choir, call it just, a singing group. And he set up this wonderful singing group called Sing United. And for anyone who lives in the UK and knows the Northeast, he's a real Newcastle football fan. So it's called Sing United. Anyway, he's got creatively thinking, and he put out last week that he was going to put on a little concert in his sitting room. He was going to play the piano. He thought that, everybody needed some calm and some lovely music. So he sold tickets for £5. And then he said, if you want this download, it's £7. If you want my 2 albums, it's £12. And it was between 85 and 90 people sitting down Friday night, listening in. Now, I thought it was just going to be listening.
He did this all on video?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he said that what he did is when you bought your ticket, he sent you a link to the Facebook group. So he set up a Facebook group just for this. So you joined the group. And of course, what was nice about it, as I say, I thought I was just going to be sitting listening to him playing music. But no, it was the chat. And you realised everybody was joining in and interacting and putting in requests, and it became a real fun evening. And of course, it was so successful, he's doing it again.
Wow, good.
Now, he's making, £450, £500 doing that?
Yeah.
It just goes to show that, if you give yourself time to really think about what you do, what can you offer? What are people wanting? And then put it out there that you can come up with things to really help you.
Something we're all being asked to do things outside the box, aren't we? I think one of the things I picked up on our first week of being in lockdown was, wow, how can this be, an opportunity? I strongly believe that this is an opportunity, that nothing else stops your government. Nothing else is worldwide like this is. It's touching every corner of the earth.
Yeah.
So I believe that we are being given an opportunity from the planet, whatever you want to call it, that we have an opportunity to re-look at ourselves and reset our values and really find out what really matters to us. There's a lot of people who might decide, well, okay, I'm not going back to work again. I'm going to start my own job. I'm going to do that. I'm good at this after 2 or 3 months. I'm good at repairing motorcycles, or I'm good at doing this. You just don't know. This is an opportunity to say, right, why am I doing that? It makes me feel dead inside, and I'm all about how things feel in the body.
Yeah.
So if you're going to work and it's a drudge and you're only doing it to sort of pay your mortgage and things like that, here's an opportunity to do something that you think you would love, whether it's art, being an artist, repairing motorcycles or scooters, or writing, or whatever it is. We've never been given so much time for self-reflection to come out and kind of go, do you know what? I value my family so much. I value nature so much. I value whatever it is, feeling healthy and great in my body, and connecting with people and having one-to-one relationships. I'm a great one also for helping you to understand, the love languages, because certain people are more motivated by one-to-one connection. So they shouldn't be doing groups and things like that, because you can't connect with so many people or give them the deep touching stuff that they need. So a lot of people will be missing hugs and contact and those kind of things. And then you've got service. So some people are just great at service. That's how they show their love, and that's how they want when they receive love. That's what they want back. Words, I love words. And quality time. So it's great that you're doing one-on-ones. So it's what really counts for you, because if you're just going through getting up in the morning, going to work, coming home, have a meal, going to sleep, the routine, and you feel dead inside, that's not the way we wanted to live. And you call it God, the universe, your soul, whatever. That's not what we're here for. It's a huge chance to do something extremely different. And it's not just about businesses being like that. It can be singing, it can be music. It can be a great analogy. What a great story. Thanks.
I think that maybe there will be quite a few people who are normally employed who decide actually they'd rather set up their own thing. But I think for the people who have got businesses, this is quite a scary time for a lot of people, and they are it's sort of business as usual, in the fact, like you and me, we're used to working at home. We just carry on. My day feels pretty much like it always does.
Well, it is, apart from everybody else is out in the garden or doing something in the afternoon. I say, right, you've got to do your homework in the morning. And then I'm like, I kind of want to go outside.
I know. I almost envy, in some respects, those people who have been sort of told to go home and do a bit of work from home. And
I've got teacher friends, and they're going home and they're going running, and they're doing this, and they're clearing out the wardrobe. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll have a holiday once this is all over.
yeah. But I think, just sort of, but I'm seeing also a lot of, obviously there's quite a lot of fear out there and a lot of anxiety. But I think there's also a danger of people making excuses as well. And I think if you want your business to survive and thrive, I think really this is also the time to sort of, take responsibility, step up and realize what you need to be doing. Because I think a lot of people also, I come across this a great deal, people are always very busy doing their stuff, doing their thing, what they're good at, because they like it. Because I think that's what we go into business for in the first place. A lot of people will make a business out of, I don't know what, knitting blankets or something, because they love knitting blankets. And then one day they realize, I need to sell these blankets. Otherwise I don't, it's just a hobby. And I think this is one of those times, actually, you have to realize that you're not just a doer, you're actually a marketer. And if you want to keep going, you have to keep marketing your business. And that, that's obviously, I'm saying that because that's what I do a lot of. That's what I'm hopefully expert in.
What would be your number one tip then for somebody who did knit blankets?
Well, are they doing it as a hobby or are they doing it as a business? If it's a hobby, fine. Sit in the corner and knit blankets. Give them away.
They don't need the money, then fine.
Yeah. But if it's your business, I would say this is the one time you don't stop marketing. You might have to be, if money's tight, you cut back on other things. You cut back on your subscriptions and all sorts of other things like that. What you must not cut back on is your marketing spend, because you need to make sure that people still know that you're there and what you've got and what you're offering. So that would be my number one tip. You know, this, don't sit back,
So
don't use
there are
it.
so many different ways to market yourself. So
Yeah.
can you suggest for the blanket lady and how she might, you know, find a variety of different ways that she could possibly market herself that she, you know, maybe outside a box or she hasn't thought about other than, you know, Women's Institute or
Well, just focusing on the blanket lady might not help everybody else, but I
no,
would say,
okay, I mean, I'll just use that as an example.
yeah,
But, you know,
I think
a coach or something. I mean,
yeah. Well, this is the time absolutely to look, because I say we probably have got a bit more time, is to look at our marketing and fix that. So there are lots of different marketing pillars, and they will be different for everybody. But you know, if you're busy, you know, this is the time to really get LinkedIn. Don't assume that everyone's gone home and isn't looking at LinkedIn anymore if you're business to business.
I would say that more people have more time to troll around on LinkedIn and Facebook and things like that. And just see what's going on in the world. I mean, I use Facebook sometimes or LinkedIn. It's like, I don't watch the news, so that's my, what's the general feel? What's going on? You know, so you see what's going on. Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, there are lots of things. I think this is the time to really look at is what you're doing. Well, first of all, I would say, look at your foundation, not necessarily on the marketing side, but have you got things set up? I think we know as business owners, we're always busy. We always say, oh, you know, I'll get round to fixing my website, Googling my business, making sure I've got a system for following up inquiries, you know, all those sorts of things. I think it's really important to take this time to do those sorts of things, really. As I say, you know, if your phone rings, do you have a proper system to make sure it always gets answered? If you have inquiries, do you have a system that those people always get followed up? Are they being nurtured? Have you got Google My Business set up so people know where you are? And here's one little insight, well, it's not an inside tip. Google My Business will be the next social media platform.
Okay.
It's the next sort of marketing platform, because you can put articles in there, you could get reviews on there.
Yes, I think when I did the retreat, I Googled, I did that because they send you a code, don't they?
No, but you can, there's a whole system of setting it up properly, you know, everything.
All right, okay.
So
But
it's
also about, you know, making things audible as well. I mean, that's a huge step as well for everybody who's using, what are they called? Alexa.
Yes.
Or things like that, you know. So it's just there are so many different ways of kind of getting your business found, and some people are experts at being able to help you get found.
So I think in this period of time, you know, it is time to sort of, as I say, make sure your foundations like that are really solid. Have you got things on your website? Are your pages titled for, you know, SEO? Do you have something on there that people can download that's useful and valuable so you can get their emails? Is this the time to start a newsletter? Because I mean, that's a big thing of marketing. It's about keeping in touch. I was talking to on Tuesday, I was so disappointed. I was supposed to be going and have my nails done. And of course I can't go and do that. And I was talking to her and I was saying, you know, this is the time, because I spoke to this. She's not a client. Oh God, I wish she was a client, because she wouldn't be sort of sitting there with nothing to do now. But I spoke to her over an appointment last year about how she could set up a newsletter. And if she had that in place now, you know, she'd be getting in touch with people, she'd be going, and if she wants to get money in, she could be saying, oh, why, you know, I'm going to offer a bundle of vouchers, for instance, you know, 6 treatments and you get 10% off.
Oh, I mean, I wonder if you could do, I mean, I'm just thinking about a friend of mine who wanted to go online and get an email address and things like that. And I'm thinking, well, you can't, sometimes if you're a hands-on therapist, you can't necessarily sort of, you know, feel the muscles and things, but you could do consultations.
Yep.
You could say, well, how about you did this exercise or that exercise, and, you know, loosen up, how does it, you could do online consultations, but she also didn't have an email list. She just advertised locally and, you know, people came through because of word of mouth, but then what? Yeah.
I mean, my yoga teacher, she literally lives over the fence over there.
Yeah.
And she's doing an online for her class, her
my
usual
yoga
class.
teacher sent me some, like, I mean, they're simple ones, that's fine. But I mean, I'm using YouTube because the girl I use on YouTube, and I have done, you know, in phases, 30-day set. And when you're in a 30-day set like that, then you just carry on doing 20 minutes a day and collecting with her every day. What a brilliant thing to do.
Yeah. But I mean, for therapists like her, hairdressers, technicians, they can't necessarily, well, they can do consultations, but I'm thinking more about quick wins. How can they get some money in? And there are always ideas for that, things that you can offer people. She said, well, she's been going around dropping, because people have got their nails done, but then if it's shellac, how do they get it off? So
I saw something on one of the Facebook sites the other day, and I just thought, oh my God, that's hilarious. They won't be able to get their nails done for a long time, and they'll be like, they won't be able to do anything. I mean, so there must be something that they could do at home.
Yeah, I think you can.
I mean, we've had so many funny pictures in the house as well about, Alex keeps showing me these photographs of like, this is what women are going to look like because they can't go for epilation. This has got, women who were blonde, all of a sudden you can see their real colour. And I'm just thinking, oh my God, there's so many different businesses that just aren't able to provide a service.
Yeah, there are. And this is where they have to think creatively. But yeah, I mean, something like the vouchers, she needs to be keeping in touch with her clients so they know what she's doing and when they can come back. She could be offering them packages. She could be telling them the latest colours. So once they do go back, they're really eager, to get stuff done. There's so much that she could be doing. And, it's not just, this is what I was saying at the beginning, isn't it? It's getting creative or thinking of ideas. And I love just coming up with these ideas. Actually, I was talking to another lady last night. I've done a couple of sessions with her, because I do like these 2-hour breakthrough sessions. So she's not like a full-time client at the moment, but we were talking because she wanted to she's a gut health practitioner, and she was all set to start going into schools and talking to parents about how to cut down the sugar.
Yeah, for the gut bacteria to survive. It's one of my passions, having been a detox diva for the last, and I still run detox retreats, but of course I'm not having any. Yeah, I do.
Oh, that's
what I've been doing here the last 15 years. I've been running detox retreats, but I realized that the body didn't alter through food alone. It was affected a lot by stress. It was affected a lot by your constant thinking about, and sometimes if a woman, has been in abuse or something like that, the cellular memory affects her body being able to sort of change, and the gut bacteria and the weight and everything else. So then it went from, women trying to diet to lose the weight, to change their body, to detox to lose the weight, to change the body. And then like, why is still nothing working for me? So then it was all to do with not just gut bacteria, but like what affects the gut bacteria, your thought process, because the body, nothing changes fast as the body to your thoughts and your feelings.
Right.
And if you're triggered to eat food, if you have cravings and things like that, it's often because you're eating away anger or you're trying to numb down some emotions. Anyway, so that was by the by. But yes, I run retreats here in Southwest France, and I was almost expecting, bookings to start coming in now for like May, June, July, and I'm like, okay.
Yes.
And I have a home detox box that I send out to people's houses. So if the post is still working, then, the home detox box is still available so that you can cleanse your whole digestive system.
Oh, that's a great idea.
You can do a retreat at home.
Yes.
Depending what your family situation's like. Because it's a time to rest and really recoup and understand how your body works. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you because you
no, not at all.
Health, I was like,
no. I was talking to Sue yesterday and sort of trying to give her ideas on how she can still, she can still get in front of parents. There are Parent Teacher Association Facebook groups out there, and she can be putting together something, because once they've sort of got into the whole routine of homeschooling and that, they're going to go, okay, we're for long term here. So she can then be saying,
I said, what a great idea. The kids won't be able to go and spend their pocket money in shops and sweets anymore. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, perfect time for parents to think, okay, how can I get my kids off sugar? What healthy eating?
When was the population the healthiest? In the war.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Mind you, that's when we had proper cookery lessons, Fiona.
Yeah, I used to do domestic science at school.
I was only thinking in the shower this morning because I was thinking about there are so many great things on YouTube at the moment. and I'd seen one about, cook with me. And I'm thinking, we see all this fancy cooking going on, with MasterChef and different competition on the TV. But it's the basics. I remember when I was taught to cook, proper cooking at school, if you knew how to make a white sauce, you could make
exactly.
If you knew how to make a sponge cake, you could make a whole variety. If you knew how to roast, how to grill, and they're not being taught the basics anymore. No. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should completely pivot.
I love this whole shutdown idea because, you can't get the stuff, the convenient food that you would normally buy sometimes. That was certainly all the stuff that was out. And I'm like, well, where's the basically taking a chicken, basically taking some vegetables, and this is going back to grandma's time, cooking from scratch.
Yeah.
And being imaginative what you can use.
Yeah. You say back to grandma's time, but actually, I am a grandma. But I've always cooked fresh from home.
Yeah.
a takeaway, occasionally, or a ready meal as a treat, as a Friday night because I can't be bothered. Yeah, sure.
I just get disappointed when I go to a restaurant because they don't supply what I really, really want. It's more of a disappointment than a treat. But it's nice not to have to cook. But I've now got the boys in the house, they cook their meals in the evening. I don't tend to eat in the evening. And then, Alex cooks. And when I cook, knowing your eating personality is very interesting. There's a quiz that I do for an eating personality. So then once I'm like, God, food is the bane of my life. Shopping for it, thinking about it, putting it in the cupboards, getting it out, cooking, making a menu for the week, which is what we're all doing now as well. Well, let's be frugal. Let's be,
menu planning.
Go to the shops 2 or 3 times a week. I'll go once every 2 weeks. Thank you very much. And okay, here's the menu for the week. Right, I need this, 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 and this. So when I found out that, that was one of my eating personalities, food's the bane of my life, I would really only prefer to cook one really lovely meal once or twice a week, but do not get me to do lunch and dinner every single day. I will go out of my head. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll have to work out how I can do that in another way then. So teach the kids how to cook food that they like or that they want. Use the eggs from the garden in different ways.
I was going to say, you've
got
your eggs.
I don't eat eggs like that. I don't eat. Right, okay, what do you eat? We can have 2 huge meals, like a Spanish tortilla or something like that, with the eggs from the garden or an omelette or something. So we have to be inventive. I love it.
Yes, as I say, everything.
Same as you have to be inventive for your business.
So much will change. And I think a lot of people, having seen that they can take certain things online, it will be maybe a new part of their business, a new growth.
I think more and more people are being asked to work from home. I know several of my friends in the UK who still sort of do those kind of jobs. They are now being asked to work from home. Yeah. And I think a huge amount of the population are now learning how to work from home.
Yes.
Which of course we've done for a little while. So it's going to be very different, I think. And we don't need these huge overheads of these offices and things like that if we're supported with telephone lines and absolutely, rebates and things from working at home. So your skill then is helping people to think outside the box and keep marketing in this particular time.
Yes, I do marketing. It doesn't matter that we're locked down, and I hate that word, by the way. But yes, it's really getting clients in. I help people with that rhythmic acquisition of customers. So a lot of it is down to the marketing, but as I was saying before, you've got to get in all those different foundations in first.
Yeah.
So that's what I love doing now, because there's a system to it, and I think people get very scatterbrained, for want of a better word. It's like, oh, well, I'll try this and I'll do a bit of this and I'll do a bit of that, but actually there is a system that if you just do it step by step, as I say, look at where you are, where do you want to be, what do you need to put in, then look at the marketing, testing the marketing, seeing what works, getting the score, and then all that's what I sort of take people through normally.
And I think people are going to be looking very differently at how they work. Companies are going to look very differently at overheads and how they work. And if you can think about a therapist and all the things that they could be doing to boost their business in the future, and how they can look at things and do things in a different way, that's such value. Karen, thank you very much for our talk this morning. There's so much more I think we can talk about working from home and some of the things. So next time I think we'll concentrate on a different area, but this is really valuable. Thank you so much. And what I'm going to ask you to do, if you email or send me in Facebook Messenger your link for your group, so that people at least know where to come, so they can hear you talking about things like that.
You're in my group, Fiona, aren't you?
I am in your group, I am. But if there's any other anything else that you think, an app that you found really useful since you've been working at home or something like that, then that's really helpful. Just keep sharing, because we all need different things at different times. Thank you very much for today. And fantastic. Thank you very much. See you again soon.
Not at all. It's been great.